Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy and governance. I'm Hamza Idris. The Supreme Court today delivered final verdict on governorship elections tussles in 8 states following protracted battles Nigerians have been watching with keen interest since the conduct of the 2023 general election. Trust TV's Sagir Ibrahim, who observed the activities and reactions around the Supreme Court premises, put together this report.
It is celebration, excitement, and a lot of joy as the governor of Plateau State, Governor Caleb Mutfwang, has been announced as the winner and has been returned elected as the governor of Plateau State.
The Supreme Court reinstated Caleb Mutfwang as the governor of Plateau State, overturning his dismissal. Led by Justice Emmanuel Agim, a 5-member panel deemed the Court of Appeal's decision flawed, stating that the primary election issue leading to Mutfwang's removal was beyond the lower court's jurisdiction. The Supreme Court clarified that the petitioners, not being PDP members, lacked standing to challenge the party's primary election.
So much excitement, so much celebration. Let's get the reaction of some of them.
PDP, we are rejoicing, we are celebrating, we are rejoicing on Plateau State because we have won the election.
Well, to God be the glory. Yes. Truly, God is on the throne.
Yes.
Today, we are so happy.
Yes.
Today, Plateau is so happy.
Yes.
The ordinary woman on the street of Plateau today is dancing.
Yes.
Today, the Supreme Court has shown today truly that Nigeria still have a court to run to.
Hallelujah.
We are so happy, we are so excited that Plateau is going to move forward.
Yes.
That finally, Caleb Mutfwang, the Caleb in the Bible, is going to move Plateau to the promised land.
The Supreme Court also overturned the removal of Abba Yusuf as governor of Kano State. Justice John Okoro, reading the lead judgment, stated that the Court of Appeal was wrong in affirming the tribunal's decision that Yusuf did not secure the majority of lawful votes in the gubernatorial election. The Apex Court considered 2 issues: whether the lower court was right in deducting the governor's 165,616 votes, which Justice Okoro held that the tribunal was mistaken in subtracting the votes credited to the governor.
Today is a very happy day, not only for the Kano people and as well not Nigerian people. It is even a happy day for me, for the judiciary, because this judgment restored the hope of the common man toward the judiciary. We have been saying since right from the tribunal that this case is lacking in merit, is devoid of any merit. It ought to be dismissed. But the tribunal as well as the Court of Appeal in their own wisdom see it different. But today, the Supreme Court reaffirmed the position of the law that you cannot come and challenge the membership of another political party.
Today, the Supreme Court, in their own wisdom, were able to right all those wrongs and went further to prove to Nigerians that indeed the courts are the last bus stop of hope for the common man in the country. So we are happy with what transpired today, and our hope has been increased in our belief that the justice system in Nigeria is still something and somewhere where the common man can always go to get justice.
In the case of Lagos, the Supreme Court dismissed the appeal of Gbadebo Rhodes Viva of the Labour Party against the election of Babajide Sanwo-Olu of the All Progressives Congress. The Apex Court affirmed the judgment of the Court of Appeal Lagos, dismissing the appeal for lacking in merit. In a unanimous decision, the panel of justices described the petition as a gross abuse of court process. Also, the Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision by a 5-member panel of justices, overturned the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which initially declared Governor Dauda Lawal's election inconclusive. The lead judgment, delivered by Justice Emmanuel Agim, deemed the appellate court's decision as perverse and consequently annulled the order for a rerun. Justice Agim emphasized that the All Progressives Congress candidate Bello Matawalle failed to substantiate his claim that the election results in 3 specific local government areas of Birnin Magaji, Bukuyum and Maradun were inaccurately declared in favor of Governor Lawal. Similarly, the Apex Court upheld Bala Muhammad's election as Bauchi State Governor, dismissing Sadiq Abubakar's appeal from the All Progressives Congress. The Court of Appeal had previously affirmed Muhammad's victory in the March 18 governorship election, a decision upheld by the tribunal. In the recent ruling, the Apex Court dismissed the appeal for lacking in merit, as well as the appellant's plea regarding improperly filed election forms and booklets stating that it was not substantiated with evidence. On Friday, the Supreme Court upheld the victory of Francis Onwifru as the governor of Ebonyi State. A panel of 5 judges, with Tijani Abubakar delivering the decision, concluded that the PDP and its governorship candidate Ifeanyi Odi failed to substantiate their claims of non-compliance with the Electoral Act during the March 18, 2023 election in Ebonyi State. The verdict received unanimous agreement from the other members of the panel. In another development, the Supreme Court affirmed the election of Governor Basi Otu of Cross River State. In a judgment, the court dismissed the appeal filed by Professor Sandy Ono and his party, the People's Democratic Party, with which they sought to sack Governor Otu of the APC. Justice Helen Ogunwumiju, in the lead judgment, held that the appellants failed to prove their case, adding that the appeal is without merit and a waste of judicial time and resources. Finally, the Supreme Court unanimously upheld Mr. Alex Oti of the Labour Party as the legitimate victor of the gubernatorial election conducted in Abia State on March 18. A 5-member panel of justices delivered a unanimous decision dismissing 2 separate appeals aimed at invalidating Oti's election triumph. Justice Uwani Abaji, in the lead judgment, stated that the appeals brought by the candidates of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Oke Ahiwe, and the All Progressives Congress, APC, Chief Ikechi Emenike, lacked merit. The Apex Court asserted that there was no legal foundation to interfere with the consistent findings of both the Abia State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal and the Court of Appeal, which upheld Oti's electoral victory.
Jubilation, celebration and joy. That is what has rented the Supreme Court area of the FCT following the delivery of judgment in the different cases that has been brought upon the Supreme Court with regards to the March 18 governorship election of 2023. I can say for a fact that some of the respondents who had spoken with Trust TV has described the outcome and the verdict of the Supreme Court as a true representation of the will of the people. Kano State, Plateau State, Ebonyi State, Zamfara State, among others, including Lagos State, judgment has been delivered upon, and so far it has gone in the direction of the incumbent governors who are currently serving the state. However, it's a calm atmosphere here. There's no breakdown of law and order. It's been only celebrations from the 8 states brought before the Apex Court.
Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Also, Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin gives us an update of the mood in Kano after the Supreme Court's judgment.
These are hundreds of supporters from the New Nigeria People's Party in Kano storming the official residence of Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso in celebration of their victory at the Supreme Court, which declared Abba Kabir as the duly elected governor of the state. Dressed in their usual colors of white and red caps, these supporters are happy that their governor has won the final battle. They say it is now evident that the Nigeria's judicial system is indeed working. Trust me, I cannot tell you how happy I am today. We are indeed very happy. By seeing all these people around, you know that something big has happened in Kano. God has made it for us, and Kwankwaso is working. And I can tell you our governor is working. We are very, very happy today. Honestly, I have been sick since yesterday. And even this morning, my wife was asking me to go out. I refused to go out. I told her I am not going anywhere. Until around 12, when I asked my wife to give me my radio. On listening to the radio, I heard that our governor has been declared as the winner at this Supreme Court. I quickly came out and rushed to this house. I am telling you, we are very, very happy, and I have never expected that this will happen to us today. Back on the streets of Kano metropolis, hundreds of men, women and children turned out to celebrate the victory, despite the presence of armed security personnel who have been deployed to prevent breakdown of law and order. According to these supporters, Governor Abba Kabir has already laid a solid foundation for the development of Kano State. Hence, they hope that the governor will use the victory to come up with various development projects for the development of Kano people. You can see that God has made it for us. We have been saying it, that we have won this election, and the Supreme Court has made it happen today. Now, this shows that the judicial system is indeed working, and we believe that Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf will continue to do the good work he has already started for the good people of Kano State. You are seeing the good work he is doing, and this work will continue for the overall development of the people of Kano State. At the moment, the people of Kano are anxiously awaiting the return of their governor, who was in Abuja for the announcement of the judgment. However, security operatives have since been deployed to ensure adequate protection of lives and property as the celebration continues across the state. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Viewers, today is your day as we expect to get your comments, questions and concerns all around the Supreme Court pronouncement. But before then, joining us to dissect the outcome here in the studio is Hussaini, Managing Counsel, Eastwards Legal Services, a private legal practitioner based in Abuja. Yes, Hussaini, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
You are smiling. Are you a member of NNPP or member of APC?
Well, I don't want to declare my membership of any party.
Being a lawyer.
But I can say basically my position as a lawyer, I'm happy with well, so many of the judgments of the court.
Okay, and many people are happy, but why? Is it that it went the way of the generality of Nigerians, or what happened?
Well, yes, I can say that it went to the way of the generality of Nigerians in a way. For example, taking like the Kano issue, it has something that has been instituted by the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is understood to go by way of stare decisis. What they have already actually instituted as in the court, that generally a member, mainly I think two issues. One of the most contentious one is that the member of another political party cannot challenge the membership or the
or otherwise,
or maybe otherwise of another candidate.
In legal terms, you call them meddlesome interlopers.
Yes,
that
of course.
It's not your business. What took you there?
So basically, if anything will have been decided other than this, then there will be a very drastic change in the legal system, and then future cases may have more of people trying to ask questions in other political parties' affairs.
Okay, so you are saying that maybe this decision is sound, and it also draw the attention of politicians not to actually bother about happenings in other political parties. Is that correct?
Yes, as far as the Supreme Court has two live issues that they discuss on the Kano issue. That's the issue of the membership, and I think this decision as far as the membership is concerned is very sound. And also if you take the other issue, which is the discussion about the votes, about 160,000 votes, which INEC itself has already accepted. So okay, we accepted these votes, they are from us. And then candidates said no, and then some other technical issues that were required were not met at the trial. So it will also be surprising if the Supreme Court had upheld the decisions of the lower courts, though concurrent.
In respect to the votes. We were discussing in the newsroom earlier, I think our editor-in-chief, yes, he was saying it will have also been something else, because if the Supreme Court also agrees that those votes, simply because they were not stamped, and then the Supreme Court said they are invalid, meaning people all over Nigeria will still go to court to say that they should come and check what happened in their polling units and all that.
I think my own view is that since we have not read the full judgment of the court yet, we are relying also from reports from EU journalists. However, I think if I can assess, I believe maybe the Supreme Court only made this decision of the fact that the documents, meaning the ballot papers, were actually dumped on the court. So what we are required to do technically as lawyers is that if you bring in evidence, you need to bring in a witness to speak to those documents. And I think I read that those documents involve about 70-something polling units, and the entire number of witnesses that were brought by APC at the tribunal were for about 33 polling units, and the testimony that is required is that of polling unit agents. So if we have an issue dealing with 70-something polling units and you have only 33 polling units agents to come and testify, there is already a deficit of about 40 or something polling units that ought to have come in with their own witnesses to say, okay, this is the position that's
the attention was really, you know, Kano and Plateau. What do you say about the case in Plateau where Mutfwang's election was affirmed by the Supreme Court?
Well, if I will dissent in all these judgments, or if I will have some reservations, they will be in respect of two states, like mainly Plateau State and Lagos State.
Oh, why?
Yes, you see, for Plateau State, we have a governor whose judgment was actually, there was already a subsisting judgment of the court that said the Congress that was done to bring you into, or to bring in the leadership of your state chapter was PDP. Invalid. So having that, if those leadership actually conducted the primary election, it's invalid. So basically, those are the things that the Supreme Court, the lower courts look at, most especially the Court of Appeal, looks at to say, no, you can't do this. And some sister cases of the House of Reps and other assembly members in the state actually fell victim of that, because now if you say, okay, the court's order can go, like the disobedience of court order can go unpunished, well, I don't know. The court has this mandate generally to protect its jurisdiction. Even if it is a magistrate court that gives judgment, if it goes to the Supreme Court, as long as that judgment is subsisting, the Supreme Court, to my knowledge, ought to actually respect that. And looking at this, if you can marry this situation with the situation that was in Zamfara State, you can see that during
we're talking about
the case of Marafa, that's
2019.
I think 2019, yes.
Yes, when all members of APC that won from top to bottom were chased out.
Were chased away. Well, there is a little difference in the two cases. Let me be, to be fair, right? This case of Marafa, which is that of Zamfara, came up through primary election. So actually it was an inter-party affair that brought down the party. So one party member went to court and made sure that a decision was made against the party.
It rocked the ship.
Yes, and it was actually challenging the primary election. Meanwhile, the Plateau case was challenging only the Congress. So my own concern is that the membership of the PDP, if they had actually wanted to, maybe the faction of the PDP that were not happy, if they actually wanted to bring down PDP, they should have also instituted another case after primary election to go to the Supreme Court and then get that quashed. So if the entire primary election was quashed, we have side by side the cases of Marafa and the case of Plateau together.
So if I understand you, Barrister Hussein, assuming in Plateau,
yes,
it were PDP members that dragged this case up to Supreme Court, most likely they will win. I mean, they will have rocked the boot.
Yes. If it was PDP members or any of the members that rose, brought in a case like this,
from the
during primary election, like that's in the Federal High Court, get it up to the Supreme Court, this would have brought down the entire primary election system of PDP in the state, and that would have been the end. But then I still have some reservation about the fact that...
Okay, I will allow you to talk on those reservations. Maybe we should try and allow viewers. Yes, viewers, it is now time for you to call and share your opinion, comments, or contributions through the phone number on your screen. Please remember to keep your comment precise and avoid foul language. You can give contribution on all the issues raised at the Supreme Court in respect to these 8 states. Over to you. Yes. What is the other reservation, Barrister Hussein?
Well, as I said earlier, I have some reservation about the decision in Lagos.
Okay, Rods Bevo.
Generally, it's a sound decision. There is one live issue. Sorry, I've been saying live issue is a technical term that the Supreme Court
what does that mean? Because I'm a journalist.
So the Supreme Court just means that if you come to the Supreme Court, this is the final court. We'll check your documents. Which issue can decide this case? So they'll pick it up. Or they'll pick those issues up. So if you bring in let me say 10 issues, 100 issues for them to decide, if they see that this issue can set the whole thing to rest, they'll pick it up. So basically the case...
Instead of saying they'll look at each and every...
No, they don't have that time. They are the final. So once they decide, you don't have any appeal.
So one can subsume...
Yes.
Others, provided it is the strongest.
Yes, the strongest point that if they decide in this way or that way, any other issue will be irrelevant. So they don't have time to talk more on the other issues. So they are the final bus stop, so they will pick the issue. So now coming back to the Lagos issue, they picked the issue of the American citizenship of Mr.
The Deputy Governor.
The Deputy Governor,
Hamzat.
Hamzat.
Yes.
So my own discussion on that is that we have Mr. Hamzat with the double citizenship. So section 28 of the Constitution says that, okay, if you have another citizenship other than the Nigerian citizenship, sorry, there are 3 ways that you can be a citizen of Nigeria, right? Okay. You can be a citizen of Nigeria by birth. You can be a citizen of Nigeria by registration. So by birth is when your
parents
delivered you or grandparents actually delivered you here, and then their own grandparents were ought to have been born in Nigeria as at 1960. So it's a long technical issue.
Okay. Before you mention the other way you can be a citizen, we have our first caller, and Barrister Hussein, actually Shamaki is a regular caller. I don't know how he used to get it first every week. Shamaki, welcome to the program.
Good evening, Hamza Idris.
Thank you, Shamaki.
Good evening, the guest in the studio.
Yes, Barrister Hussein, yes.
Good evening, Mr. Shamaki.
Actually, this very judgment or the verdict is very, very good. I commend the Chief Judge of the Supreme Court. I also commend the judges that held this judgment. In fact, what people do not expect is what people saw. So if a judiciary, most especially like Supreme Court, will continue with this kind of act, I think Nigeria is changing. But the question some of us are asking is the plateau, because we see where the tribunal and the administrative, the House of Assembly members, read and Senate. So thinking is the same value will also catch up with the governor of Plateau State, but surprisingly, we see the Supreme Court gave him his value. So because we are making inferences with Zamfara during Matawale time, all the House of Assembly to the governor happened. But surprisingly, we saw Mutwa scheduled. So all the best.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shamaki. You are discussing something interesting about being a citizen, but he raised a concern here. While commending the justices, he asked what happens to legislators, some senators, quite a number of House of Reps members.
Yes,
yes. You have Senator Bali, right?
Yes.
And a number of members of the State Assembly, all sacked on the grounds that there was no Congress to produce party officials. of PDP in Plateau State. So Shamaki is worried, even though the judgment sound at the Supreme Court. Then what happens to these people?
Well, I think I tried to make the point a point around this earlier. Basically, I think if I heard Shamaki right, he was also raising the issue of Zamfara, which I said, well, is to me something of concern. Yeah. However, I try to make the difference, which I believe probably when we read the full judgment of the Supreme Court,
we will arrive at that.
Because there is a difference in Zamfara. It was a final.
You mentioned.
Yes, it was actually the primary election that was locked down by a member, internal affairs, and then a member of the APC. So what the Supreme Court is saying is that they will maintain their long-term relationship, even though with disrespect to a court order, a subsisting court order, and the court is assumed to have that responsibility to protect the jurisdiction of courts. Even with that, the Supreme Court insisted that they are going to remain on that position they have held earlier, that where, a member of another party cannot challenge the validity of the nomination of another person from another party in the final, in the tribunal.
Yeah. What do you think will have happened, even though maybe you don't have answer to that, in Kano and Plateau, assuming it is the other way around? Maybe in Plateau, okay, we have a caller from Plateau. Let's take him. Okay, Justin from Plateau. Yeah, Justin, welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Honestly, I am very, very excited to what happened today. Honestly, if Supreme Court or any court that continue like this, in fact, we will be very happy. Because the case of Kano and the Plateau and other states, honestly, they have done it. They have done something that if Nigeria will continue like this, I think our democracy will be a very good one.
Why are you saying this, Johnson? Assuming now they declared Nentawe, what will be your grudge, for instance? Since lawyers, I remember...
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me, Johnson?
I can hear you.
Yes, I said, what will have been your reaction, assuming the Supreme Court said it is Nentawe that actually won the election?
Honestly, hello?
Yes, I'm with you. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
I'm with you.
Hello?
Hello, yeah, Johnson,
honestly,
we are with you.
The reason why I'm saying this is because of the truth. I know PP won election. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, maybe you have some distractions around you. Reduce the volume of your television set and then go ahead with your discussion. Yes. Oh, sadly, we lost the call, but I hope Johnson will call back. I was asking him what will be his reaction. And why am I asking? You know, after some of the, cases decided by the tribunals, there was this mob action against the courts. And the Supreme Chief Justice of Nigeria had cause to sound warning that they should not be, gagged to take decisions just based on sentiments and all that. And that is why I ask Johnson, maybe you help answer. Yes, is it that people will just rebel? Yeah. But we have another caller, Barrister Hussein Moses from Kaduna. Moses, welcome to the program. Hello, Moses?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, we are with you.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, very well, Moses. Go ahead.
Honestly, what is happening or what has been happening, honestly, today was just like an academic exercise.
How do you mean academic exercise?
Honestly, we have had several cases, and then come to think of the case of Kano and Plateau State, precise on the issue of party nomination. We are following keenly, with keen interest, I mean. So, but to our greatest surprise, we've had several back and forth between the tribunal giving one verdict and then the Court of Appeal giving a different verdict on the same issue. And we began to question that then whether we had a double standard in the judiciary, the same judiciary. Yes. Thank you very much.
All right. Moses, thank you. He was asking, why will the tribunal give judgment? Court of Appeal, different one, and then when you go to Supreme Court, you have an entirely different judgment. Is it the maturity or the depth of knowledge of the justices that is determining some of these issues?
Well, you know, in administration of justice, I think this whole journey that is being set from the tribunal to the Supreme Court, or from a lower court to the Supreme Court, is just for some of the grounds you mentioned. Number one, the diversity of opinions of the lower court judges to the Court of Appeal, I mean the tribunal judges to the Court of Appeal judges, and then the Supreme Court judges is vital in trying to decide justly. And then secondly, the reason for those movement is to see, okay, we have had a judge of the tribunal make a decision, and then next we have now a judge of the Court of Appeal to make a decision, and each of them are moving from one step of experience to another. So of course the depth of knowledge also, and the depth of understanding also matters. So once you are taking, for example, a case at the lower court, you will do your best to bring out your own understanding of it. While your own senior at the Court of Appeal, you will take it, differently, and then the Supreme Court will now finally say, okay, this is the position. And I think even the Supreme Court itself say that they are not infallible.
They are human.
They are human, so they are actually seen to be infallible just because they are final. But it's not that they are saying that every decision we have made as a Supreme Court is the best that can come.
And that is why sometimes you see litigants writing to the Supreme Court asking it to review some of its decisions, even though this happens in rare occasions. There is this soundbite from Justice Emmanuel, on the Plateau case. He said, judiciary must wake up from sleep. Is he really challenging justices to start reading very well or to read deeper instead of taking decisions, based on simple technicalities?
Well, I think the expression by Honorable Justice Ajeme just mean that maybe there should be more of a progressive review of cases by the lower courts. Maybe it's actually talking to the lower courts, look, okay, based on our understanding from this as a Supreme Court, you have not done your homework right. So they are talking to now the Court of Appeal, being the direct lower court to them, and maybe saying, okay, in other cases now, maybe insinuating other cases, the trial courts, talking about the tribunal, should also be up and doing, looking at things. So as the most senior judge, or as a part of the panel of the most senior justices of the land, I think he is in the right place to warn his colleague below to be up and doing. And I think there's another warning that was given by Honorable Justice, I think Okoro. I read it on the news that he said judges or justices should be meticulous. I don't know, since they did not take that one as a live issue, it may be because of the typographical issue that was said in the Court of Appeal judgment in Kano. So when I saw it, I said, oh, maybe my Lord is talking about the fact that justice should read their judgments very well before they read it in open court.
Yeah, thank you very much, Barrister Hussein. Yes, we have another caller in the person of Abdullahi from Niger. Abdullahi, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Hamza.
Yes.
Good evening, the guest.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, I want to comment on the Supreme Court judges for their sincerity on giving the verdict both Kano and Plateau. But actually, sometimes my own observation and from several conversations from experts you have invited, which sometimes I've observed there's a serious misunderstanding from what step or what affects, that is from the tribunal of the Supreme Court. Which in the case of Plateau, actually, what is more concerning as what our colleagues have said is the issue of, are you with me?
Yes, very well. Yeah, Abdullahi, where with you?
Okay, based on the issue of members of the National Assembly and the issue of the governor. Actually, they say from the High Court, which said the PDP must go back to make a Congress. And such Congress was being conducted. But there is no consideration. Actually, I may like to call on the National Assembly to exceed all the island, to exceed this kind of cases of National Assembly up to the Supreme Court. Because sometimes there's some errors or some lacunas at the tribunal and appeal court. In the case of Bishop, where there is no such provision in the Constitution where its tribunal will deduct a vote of 168,000 votes from a candidate saying there is no stamp on it. How did they get time and check out these kind of votes? And a voter, its major concern is not to vote in unit, be accredited, his name has appeared, and cast his vote. He can't look at the question. He can't look at the ballot paper at the back of the ballot paper before he casts his vote. So, actually, I comment on the Supreme Court.
Thank you.
And I would like the guests to shed more light, give us more light on such issues of Plateau and Kano, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Abdullah. Yes, thank you for calling and for your understanding of some of the issues. While commending you, he said he needed more insight into it. And I think you repeated this, not once, not twice, that the difference between Plateau and Zamfara, which APC members in Plateau were latching on, was that when there was case in Zamfara, all of them were removed. But you cleared that why they succeeded in Zamfara was because it was somebody from within the party that went to court.
Yes, that is the difference. That is the difference between this decision and that of Zamfara. That of Zamfara is actually a pre-election matter that goes to the Supreme Court. Instituted by the right party, because the Supreme Court said there has to be within the party. So basically it's about the legal standing of another party member, another person's, a person from another party to challenge that. But he raised another issue, that he believes the cases of National Assembly and state houses of assembly should be going to the Supreme Court, which I maybe want to make a comment on that for him to know that we only have, constitutionally, if you read it the way in people's view of, like mine, have it, is that the Supreme Court can only have 21 justices with the chief judge, or CJN, who's making that 22. I think this is the maximum time, or this is the time that we are likely going to have almost the full membership of the Supreme Court. And on that, there are other cases which are not even election. So the amount of pressure on the court is too much. But
you know something, Barrister Hussaini, I met one of the legislators from one of the states here in the North Central, and he was also making the same appeal. He believes that, assuming his case got to the Supreme Court, he wouldn't have been removed. Why are people thinking that only maybe at the Supreme Court, to greater extent, they will get justice?
It's just like saying, give me another chance, give me another chance. I can tell you a lot of people that lost at the Supreme Court. Now, we wish that there will be another court. If they can go to ICJ, they will be happy.
Maybe
they can go to the International Court of Justice, they will be happy. So generally, we are even trying to, like a lot of people are even trying to advocate that the number of cases that goes to the Supreme Court, aside from the election matters, should also be reduced.
All right,
and of course,
we have a caller. Yes, we have a caller from Taraba. Yes, Nuru, welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. What I'm saying here, I wanted to comment to Trust TV at the first place and comment the judges who have passed a judgment this day. Today, Nigerians have now confirmed that they have judiciary in their country. If you can look at the nature of the nation, all attention have been dragged or have been on.
All right.
So what has happened today, sincerely speaking, have surprised Nigerians. So we wanted to commend the effort of the judges who have passed judgment today, and we are soliciting, if possible, that if election have been held.
Okay, it's like we lost Nuru's call, but he has passed the message. He said this has raised the bar and even the integrity of the judiciary. And you know, in our tidbit, some members, especially of the Konkosia movement, they said, okay, confidence has been restored.
No, I agree with that.
You agree with that?
No, I agree with that because, like, most especially on the Kano issue, I can tell you, I will be very surprised if, most especially the issue of the membership scaled through as a live issue that was discussed. It will have shocked me to my bone marrow, because I know once you go into the reports, you can see several cases that the Supreme Court itself has made a decision, has stood by that. And now to say that this has just changed, then we'll have to go back to research to get ready for the next election, because a lot of more tough tussle will come in.
And now, can we say some of these judgments have taken decisions to the public court, meaning people who elected their representatives now have their way?
Oh, no, maybe I can say that looking at just the issues, like generally it's just the Supreme Court actually made the decision based on what is presented before it. So what is presented before the Supreme Court, to me, the best of my knowledge and understanding, is what they decided on. Not
so
actually
it's not about simply because people voted for them.
No, I thought you were talking about maybe pressure from the public.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to also say.
Not really about the pressure, because that is just what the Supreme Court ought to have done. It would have been shocking if the Supreme Court did otherwise.
So they were not boxed or pressured to say, okay, let's maintain the status quo so that Nigerians will be happy with us.
I doubt if the landlord just is sitting in that part, in that hallowed court with maybe sometimes experience spanning of about 40 to 35 years will just be cowed by
public sentiment.
Opinions. No.
Okay, we have another caller from Plateau, coincidentally, Daniel. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm very happy to be part of the program.
We're also happy to have you, Daniel.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So what do you have to say?
I want to contribute.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I want to contribute. I want to first appreciate the Baris idea for the insight. And I also want to contribute particularly on the case of Plateau.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. On the case of Plateau, what happened in the Apex Court today, many people think it is surprising, but truly, to be very candid, it is a matter of jurisdiction and the matter of the law. The explanation there is that the tribunal from the onset wasn't having the jurisdiction to entertain the issue of the nomination ground as it was filed by the APC to challenge the election of the PDP, which they don't have that jurisdiction. But so unfortunately, we don't know. Probably the judges in the tribunal, based on their own wisdom, they choose to give body to entertain the case and even give it to according to how it went. And the same thing in the appeal court, they also didn't aspect. But the Supreme Court is seen as the most respected court, as a court of jurisdiction and also a court that is a court of policy. They look at it with deeper understanding. When they look at it, they say from the onset, the tribunal, which is seen as a panel to entertain the aftermath of election, but went straight on boundary to entertain something which is a pre-election matter. So at the same thing, the appeal court also does the same. So that was why it was upturned today in this. That is one thing that many people don't get it. So that is what I want to contribute on that aspect.
Thank you very much,
thank you so
Daniel.
much.
Yes,
I appreciate you much.
Thank you. Yes, he said at the first instance, the tribunal shouldn't have even listened to the case taken there by the APC, because they are interlopers, as you people normally put.
Well, I agree with you, Mr. Daniel, partly on that, but I also disagree shortly, about the comments, because as I said earlier, there is already a judgment that said this particular
Congress,
Executive Council,
yes,
based on
High Court,
invalid Congress cannot do this. Generally, I can tell you, judges tend to lash out any party who willingly disrespects the orders of court, and which is, I believe, the reasons why the Court of Appeal, most specifically in the case of Plateau, agrees with the APC and their candidates to quash the decision of the tribunal, and then also quash the election of Mr. Mutfwang of the Plateau State. Just the reason is that I think even Mr. Mutfwang, a few minutes before I come to the studio, I heard him saying that it's now an opportunity for the there is a need for political parties now to look internally to their internal democracy, to be careful so that they will encourage this kind of wranglings. Meaning that it's the internal democracy of the PDP in the Plateau State that almost put it in the precarious position that Zamfara APC was once in.
Well, on a lighter note, we heard that Mutfwang was actually about going out of the country. Is it for medical vacation or for holiday, And our correspondent said that they didn't see members of APC, especially from Kano, around the Supreme Court. I don't know.
Well, I just cannot say, just as you cannot say anything about that. I don't know also, but that does not suggest that maybe the Supreme Court judgment has been leaked, or they have any information about that. Well, probably maybe they will say, well, we know Congosia people will come. We don't want to engage in anything with them. So maybe that's the reason why they refuse to go to court.
All right, yes, Barrister. Then what are some of the lessons from the judgments we've seen today?
Well, I think the lessons that will be learned here is just as something I just mentioned, that for like Plateau State, political parties should be very careful in dealing with their internal democracy. There shouldn't be reason for members to be going to court and then sometimes costing the entire party, the structure and the entire party is opportunities in the general election. So it's very vital for them to do that. And then also generally I will commend personally the Supreme Court on the decision taken. It was quite a very difficult situation that the country found itself. Almost everybody was talking about this decision. In fact, the country probably was more tensed today than it was during the presidential election decision.
Wow, so there is maybe an aura of peace now.
Yes, and also we are also happy as members of the legal profession, most especially in some of the decisions that we believe if they were, made the other way around, we will be concerned, because actually, most especially you journalists and the people around will be asking lawyers why, not the judges why. Okay. So basically, we will be the ones actually bearing the brunt of everything.
Okay, thank you very much. And Barrister Hussein Husseini. And with that, viewers, we draw the curtain on Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our guest has been Hussein Husseini, Managing Counsel, Eswat Legal Services, a private legal practitioner based in Abuja. We thank you for coming to the program.
Thank you so much.
We hope to have you again.
Thank you, madam.
And thank you for taking time to talk to us on Daily Politics, and best wishes to you, our viewers, for always joining the conversation. Remember to keep a date with us next week. Bye-bye for now. I'm Hamza Idris.